Can I prove Lil Wayne wrong and beat him in a Verzuz battle? When it comes to confidence in hip-hop, few artists have ever operated on the same level as Lil Wayne. Throughout his career, Wayne has never been shy about expressing his belief in his own greatness. Whether discussing his influence on the rap game, his lyrical abilities, or his place in hip-hop history, he has consistently projected the mindset of someone who views himself as one of the greatest to ever pick up a microphone. Recently, Wayne added another memorable statement to that legacy of confidence. According to comments that quickly spread throughout the hip-hop world, he suggested that when it comes to a Verzuz battle, the only person capable of beating Lil Wayne is Lil Wayne himself. It was exactly the kind of statement fans have come to expect from him. Bold, confident, unapologetic, and almost immediately, it sparked a debate. Can anyone actually beat Lil Wayne in a Verzuz battle? Or has his catalog become so overwhelming that even the idea of finding a worthy opponent feels impossible? To answer that question, we first need to understand what makes a Verzuz battle so fascinating. Unlike traditional rap battles, Verzuz isn't about freestyling insults or trading punches on stage. It's about records, hits, moments, cultural impact. Artists go song for song, attempting to prove that their catalog resonates more deeply with audiences. The format rewards longevity. It rewards influence. It rewards consistency. Most importantly, it rewards artists who have created songs that people remember years, even decades later. That is where the discussion becomes particularly interesting, because few artists possess a catalog as massive as Lil Wayne's. His career spans multiple generations of hip-hop. He entered the rap scene as a teenager. He evolved into a superstar. He became a mixtape legend. He transformed into a cultural icon. And somehow, through all those transitions, he continued producing memorable music. Many rappers experience a peak period lasting a few years. Wayne's influence stretched across decades. That longevity is one of the strongest arguments supporting his claim. When people discuss potential Verzuz opponents, the first challenge becomes obvious. Where do you even begin? Do you focus on commercial success? Do you focus on lyrical ability? Do you focus on cultural influence? Or do you focus on sheer volume? Because Wayne excels in all four categories. His list of hit records feels endless. Songs like Lollipop became global sensations. A Milli turned into one of the defining rap songs of an entire era. 6', 7' demonstrated that his technical skills remained elite even after years at the top. Those songs alone would give many artists serious competition, yet they represent only a fraction of his catalog. That's what makes this discussion so difficult. Most artists have signature songs. Wayne has entire eras. Different generations of fans associate him with different moments. Some remember the Hot Boys years. Others remember the mixtape explosion. Many remember the Carter albums. Each period produced music capable of competing in a Verzuz setting. That depth creates a major advantage. When an artist can pull hits from multiple decades, they become extremely difficult to challenge. Yet Wayne's confidence raises another question. Does having a huge catalog automatically make someone unbeatable? Not necessarily. Verzuz battles have repeatedly shown that popularity alone isn't enough. Timing matters. Song selection matters. Momentum matters. The emotional connection audiences have with records matters. An artist with fewer hits can sometimes outperform a competitor simply by creating stronger moments during the battle. That's why fans immediately started suggesting alternative opponents. One name that frequently appears in these discussions is Drake. The comparison makes sense. Drake is one of the few artists whose commercial success rivals or exceeds Wayne's. His catalog contains countless chart-topping records. His influence on modern music is undeniable. Interestingly, Wayne also played a major role in Drake's rise to stardom. That connection would add another layer of intrigue to the matchup. A Verzuz battle between mentor and protege would generate enormous interest. Fans would spend weeks debating the outcome. Another name frequently mentioned is Jay-Z. Unlike Wayne, Jay-Z built his reputation through a combination of commercial success, lyrical excellence, and cultural impact. His catalog includes numerous classics that remain influential decades after release. A Wayne versus Jay-Z matchup would become a battle between two very different styles of greatness. One represents relentless productivity and creativity. The other represents consistency, longevity, and strategic excellence. Then there's NAS. Many hip-hop purists would love to see that comparison. NAS possesses one of the most respected discographies in rap history. His influence extends far beyond chart performance. His lyrical contributions helped shape the genre itself. While the matchup would look different from Wayne versus Drake, it would still generate enormous discussion. Another intriguing possibility involves Eminem. If the conversation shifts toward lyrical skill, few names carry more weight. Eminem built his reputation on technical mastery, storytelling, and verbal creativity. A battle between Wayne and Eminem would likely become one of the most talked about events in hip-hop history. Fans would analyze every song choice. Every round would become a debate. Every victory would feel contested. Yet even these legendary names don't automatically guarantee a win against Wayne. That's because Verzuz battles often depend on emotional connection, rather than objective measurements. The biggest song doesn't always win. The most technically impressive record doesn't always win. Sometimes a song wins because it reminds people of a specific moment in their lives. Wayne's catalog contains countless records capable of creating that reaction. Many listeners associate his music with important memories. School years, college experiences, parties, road trips, life milestones. That emotional attachment gives his catalog extraordinary power. Perhaps that's why Wayne feels so confident. He isn't simply evaluating his technical abilities. He's evaluating the cultural footprint he left behind. And that footprint is enormous. Of course, another fascinating angle involves the idea Wayne himself introduced. What if the only real opponent for Lil Wayne is a different version of Lil Wayne? At first, the idea sounds ridiculous. But the more you think about it, the more interesting it becomes. Imagine a Verzuz battle featuring prime mixtape Wayne against Carter 3 era Wayne. Which version wins? The answer isn't obvious. Mixtape Wayne possessed unmatched creativity and hunger. Carter 3 era Wayne possessed mainstream dominance and cultural influence. Both versions brought unique strengths. Both created unforgettable music. Fans would probably argue about the outcome forever. The same concept could apply to other periods of his career. Young Wayne versus veteran Wayne. Underground Wayne versus superstar Wayne. Each version represents a different chapter in one of hip-hop's most remarkable careers. That internal competition might actually be more difficult than facing another artist. Because Wayne's greatest challenge has always been maintaining the standards he set for himself. Very few artists create expectations as high as his. When Wayne releases music, people don't compare it to average rappers. They compare it to previous versions of Lil Wayne. That's an almost impossible standard. Yet he has spent decades attempting to meet it. Another reason this debate remains so compelling is because hip-hop fans love discussing greatness. Sports fans debate championships. Movie fans debate performances. Music fans debate catalogs. These conversations rarely produce definitive answers. That's part of the appeal. Everyone evaluates greatness differently. Some prioritize influence. Some prioritize lyricism. Some prioritize commercial success. Others prioritize innovation. Depending on which criteria you choose, the answer changes. That reality applies directly to Wayne's claim. If the discussion centers on influence, Wayne has a strong case. If it centers on longevity, he has a strong case. If it centers on productivity, he has a strong case. But hip-hop history is filled with extraordinary artists capable of making equally compelling arguments. That's why the debate continues. And that's why it probably never ends. Ultimately, Wayne's statement reveals something important about his mindset. Great artists rarely achieve greatness through self-doubt. The confidence required to become a global superstar is extraordinary. Many of the greatest athletes, musicians, and performers in history believed they were the best. Wayne is no different. His statement reflects the mentality that helped him dominate hip-hop for decades. Whether fans agree with the claim is another matter. Some will argue that Drake could challenge him. Others will choose Jay-Z. Some will select Nas. Others will champion Eminem. A few might even propose entirely different names. The diversity of opinions demonstrates the depth of hip-hop history. There are simply too many legendary artists to reach universal agreement. What remains undeniable is Wayne's place within that conversation. Very few rappers have influenced the genre as profoundly. Very few have maintained relevance for so long. Very few possess catalogs as deep. And very few can make a statement, like the only person who can beat me is me, and have millions of people seriously consider the possibility. Whether the claim is true or not, it has accomplished something important. It has reignited a fascinating discussion about greatness. It has reminded fans of Wayne's incredible career. And it has encouraged people to revisit one of the most impressive catalogs hip-hop has ever produced. So can anyone beat Lil Wayne in a Verzuz battle? The answer depends on who you ask. Some will say absolutely. Others will say no chance. And a surprising number of people may end up agreeing with Wayne himself. That perhaps the only artist capable of truly challenging Lil Wayne is another version of Lil Wayne. And maybe that's the strongest argument for his greatness of all. To fully understand why Lil Wayne believes he is virtually unbeatable in a Verzuz battle, it's important to look beyond the hit records and examine the extraordinary impact he has had on hip-hop culture itself. Many artists become successful. Some become influential. Only a select few fundamentally change the direction of an entire genre. Wayne belongs in that rare category. His influence extends far beyond album sales and chart positions. In many ways, modern hip-hop still carries his fingerprints. When Wayne emerged as a dominant force in rap, the industry was already crowded with established superstars. Yet instead of trying to imitate existing trends, he developed a style that felt entirely his own. His voice was unique. His delivery was unconventional. His punchlines were unpredictable. His creativity seemed limitless. Listeners never knew exactly what he was going to say next. That unpredictability became one of his greatest strengths. While many rappers focused on carefully structured verses, Wayne often approached tracks with a free-flowing style that sounded spontaneous and effortless. The result was music that felt exciting. Fans tuned in because anything seemed possible. One moment he might deliver a clever metaphor. The next moment he might create a line so unusual that listeners spent days debating its meaning. That creativity helped separate him from his peers. It also helped establish a reputation that continues to influence younger artists today. When discussing Wayne's potential performance in a Verzuz battle, many people focus on his mainstream hits. That's understandable. Songs like Lollipop, A Milli, and 6 Foot 7 Foot remain iconic. However, limiting the conversation to those records actually understates his advantage. The real secret weapon in Wayne's catalog may be his mixtape legacy. Long before streaming platforms dominated music consumption, Wayne transformed the mixtape scene into something entirely different. Instead of treating mixtapes as promotional tools, he treated them as opportunities to showcase his skills. He rapped over popular instrumentals. He reimagined existing songs. He released an astonishing amount of material. At times, it felt like new Wayne music appeared every week. Fans eagerly downloaded every project. Critics analyzed every verse. Competitors struggled to keep up. This period of his career became legendary. For many hip-hop fans, Mixtape Wayne represents the peak of his artistic powers. His confidence was unmatched. His work ethic was relentless. His creativity seemed endless. A Verzuz battle that included mixtape records would immediately become more complicated for any opponent. Many artists can compete with Wayne's official releases. Far fewer can match the totality of his output. That distinction matters. Verzuz battles are often won through depth as much as quality. When one artist can continue pulling beloved songs round after round, the pressure on their opponent increases dramatically. Wayne's catalog gives him that luxury. Another factor working in Wayne's favor is his remarkable ability to create moments. Some songs become hits, others become cultural events. Wayne has several records that fall into the second category. When A Milli exploded onto the scene, it felt unavoidable. The song dominated conversations. Artists referenced it. Fans quoted it. Its influence extended beyond radio stations and into everyday culture. Years later, people still recognize it instantly. That's the kind of record that performs exceptionally well in a Verzuz environment. The same can be said for numerous other songs in Wayne's catalog. His music often captured specific moments in time. Listening to certain records immediately transports fans back to particular years, places, and memories. That emotional connection can be incredibly powerful. Verzuz battles aren't judged by statistics alone. They're judged by reactions, crowd responses, nostalgia, energy, cultural significance. Wayne possesses all of those advantages. Of course, no discussion about Lil Wayne's greatness would be complete without addressing his influence on future generations. Perhaps his strongest argument in any greatest of all time debate is the number of artists who cite him as an inspiration. Countless modern rappers have acknowledged Wayne's impact on their careers. His style helped shape a new generation of performers. His willingness to experiment expanded creative possibilities. His work ethic became a blueprint. His success demonstrated that unconventional approaches could achieve mainstream acceptance. That influence continues today. Many of the biggest names in hip-hop grew up listening to Wayne. Some studied his lyrics. Others borrowed elements of his delivery. Many attempted to replicate his productivity. Few succeeded. Influence of that magnitude is difficult to quantify, but it matters. When an artist changes how future musicians approach their craft, their legacy extends beyond their own music. Wayne accomplished exactly that. This brings us back to the question at the center of the debate. Who could realistically challenge him? One interesting candidate is Kanye West. Unlike Wayne, Kanye's greatest strength isn't necessarily volume, it's impact. few artists have released as many culturally significant albums. His catalog contains records that shaped entire eras of music. A Wayne versus Kanye Verzuz battle would create fascinating contrasts. Wayne's strength lies in sheer depth and versatility. Kanye's strength lies in landmark projects and artistic innovation. The outcome would be impossible to predict. Another compelling possibility is 50 Cent. At first glance, some fans might dismiss the comparison. However, 50 Cent's peak popularity was extraordinary. His early catalog contains some of the most recognizable songs in hip-hop history. The challenge would be sustainability. Could he maintain momentum over an extended battle against Wayne's endless collection of records? That's where things become difficult. Then there's the possibility of a generational showdown. What happens if a younger superstar challenges Wayne? Could a modern artist successfully compete against decades of influence and nostalgia? It's a fascinating question. Modern stars dominate streaming numbers. They attract enormous audiences. Yet Verzuz battles often reward cultural history as much as current popularity. That's one reason veteran artists frequently perform so well in these formats. Their music carries years of memories, years of emotional attachment, years of cultural significance. Wayne benefits enormously from that dynamic. Perhaps the most intriguing aspect of Wayne's claim is that it forces fans to think about how greatness should be measured. Is greatness about sales, awards, influence, longevity, technical ability, innovation? The answer depends on personal preference. And that's why debates like this never truly end. Every fan prioritizes different qualities. Every generation values different accomplishments. Every listener connects with different artists. In many ways, the discussion says as much about hip-hop fans as it does about Wayne himself. People defend the artists who shaped their lives. They champion the music that influenced them. They protect the legacies they consider important. That emotional investment keeps debates alive. And Wayne's statement taps directly into that passion. Whether he intended to start a massive conversation or not, that's exactly what happened. Fans immediately began building dream matchups. Social media filled with arguments. Podcasters analyzed potential battles. Music journalists weighed in with opinions. Everyone seemed to have a different answer. Yet amid all the disagreement, one point remained consistent. Nobody dismissed Wayne's claim entirely. Even people who disagreed acknowledged his extraordinary accomplishments. That alone says a lot. When an artist can make a statement this bold, and still receive serious consideration, it reflects the respect they have earned. Wayne has earned that respect through decades of excellence, through countless records, through constant reinvention, through an unwavering commitment to his craft. Whether he is truly unbeatable remains open to debate. What isn't open to debate is his place among hip-hop's elite, his catalog, his influence, his longevity, his creativity. Together, they form one of the strongest resumes in rap history. And that's why the Verzuz conversation continues. Because the question isn't simply whether someone can beat Lil Wayne. The question is whether anyone possesses enough hits, enough influence, enough moments, and enough cultural impact to survive standing across from him for 20 rounds. For many fans, that's a much harder challenge than it sounds. Thanks for the watching and subscribe.